The behind-the-scenes drama of the MCU is more interesting than most of the films they've made, and now there is more in the never-ending saga of disappointment.
The following is a World-Class Bullshitters exclusive.
It's no secret that Marvel is in the toilet, but like Cousin Eddie said,
Shitter was full!
So it's time to flush. The most notable flushing was of one Victoria Alonso, the former president of physical, post-production, VFX, and animation at Marvel Studios. One of the most consistent complaints about the recent string of Marvel films was the bad special effects. Alonso was responsible for the failing visual effects of the MCU. After a string of objectively bad-looking films, Marvel stepped in and let Alonso go. Since her firing, there's been countless speculation as to the real motives behind the scenes. Some say it's political, others financial, but no matter what, the Marvel firing is giving us a rare look at a house divided. So today's video is a bit of a hybrid. I was working on one with information from Vanity Fair, then the Hollywood Reporter dropped information, and then I was going to make two separate videos, but I'm going away to the meetup, and well, we're just going to make one big video. Since 2008, Marvel Studios has been the very model of a modern mini-studio. Chief Creative Officer Kevin Feige and his small stable of executives have reliably delivered an unbroken string of global blockbusters to theaters, and starting in 2021, smash TV shows for Disney+, and they've done so while keeping virtually all behind-the-scenes drama from spilling into the public view. It took just a week for that impeccable reputation to all but collapse when Disney, Marvel's parent company, fired Feige's most high-profile lieutenant, Victoria Alonso, after 17 years with the company, most recently as the president of physical post-production and visual effects and animation. She's always been a huge part of Marvel, former Marvel Studios executive Jeremy Lackton told Variety on March 26th. I was very surprised to see the news. I hope that it all gets worked out, that everyone ends up friends. It's a great group of people that's always been really kind to each other. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into a thing. Alas, it already has. Sources at Disney say Alonso was fired for her decision to moonlight for Amazon Studios as a producer on the Oscar-nominated international film Argentina 1985, without notifying the company's management audit organization, a committee that approves extracurricular business activities. For example, Disney film executive Sean Bailey got its approval to invest in Terramana, The Rock's tequila company. Things became untenable, the sources say, after Alonso continued to promote Argentina 1985 during award season despite signing an amended employment agreement expressly forbidding her to do so. Alonso's attorney, Patty Glazer, calls this contention absolutely ridiculous and counters that the executive was terminated when she refused to do something she believed was reprehensible, though what that was remains unclear. Until now. Thanks to the new information, we now know what Victoria Alonso's reprehensible act is. We'll tell you in just a moment. Representatives from Marvel and Alonso declined to comment for this story. Adding to the acrimony is Alonso's contention that she was silenced after a speech at the 2022 GLAAD Awards in which the executive, who was openly gay, called out Disney's then CEO Bob Chapek by name for his treatment of Florida's Don't Say Gay bill. While Alonso did sit for several interviews in the months following her speech, she doesn't appear to have done any press for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the studio's first major award season contender since the original Black Panther, outside of the film's red carpet premiere where she spoke briefly to Variety and other outlets. The prevailing theme of the press Alonso has done recently is her passionate belief in broadening representation at Marvel, which makes her acrimonious departure from Disney that much more notable. She's arguably the film industry's most prominent Latino executive, making a point of aligning herself with organizations at the intersection of the communities she represents. Anytime we called Victoria and asked for something, whether in her official capacity at Marvel or to participate as a mentor, she always said yes, says Women in Film CEO Kristen Schaefer, describing Alonso as having a profound impact on gender equality in the business. Her willingness to engage and stand up for women and other underrepresented people is unparalleled. There are very few people who do what she does. Likewise, GLAAD president and CEO Sarah Kate Ellis hails Alonso as a pioneer in the entertainment industry who advocated for the inclusion of LGBTQ people, women, and people of color, both on camera and behind the scenes. Her visibility as a top industry executive continues to call attention to the urgent need to grow diversity among leadership in studios and networks, Ellis says. Ben Lopez, who worked with Alonso when he was the executive director at the National Association of Latino Independent Producers, says he wasn't surprised that Alonso used her industry clout to champion Argentina 1985, a project about the trial of the military juntas that ruled her birthplace. While industry text message change and Slack conversations have been swarming with speculation about what happened and where Alonso will land next, there has been a significant public uproar. I think people are nervous to rock the boat, one veteran producer speaking to Variety on the condition of anonymity surmises. Nobody wants to upset Disney. The veteran producer sees Disney's decision in cut and dried terms. Plenty of people in the business believe that they're indispensable and fly too close to the sun, and then are shocked to find when they no longer have a job, this producer says. They added, while Alonso's track record is certainly extraordinary and impressive, and she's earned the right to be outspoken, I don't think anybody earns the right to breach their contract. Alonso's messy exit would be bad enough for Marvel, but it comes amid fierce headwinds from all directions. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, with global grosses limping to the $500 million mark, is unlikely to break even in its theatrical run, making it the first non-pandemic era money loser for the company. That film was the latest in several Marvel titles, from Thor: Love and Thunder to She-Hulk: Attorney at Law, to weather criticisms for second-rate visual effects, one of Alonso's key domains, as VFX artists have repeatedly called out the studio, alleging it forces them to accept impossible hours at cut-rate pay. Meanwhile, one of Quantumania stars, Jonathan Majors, was charged on March 26 with multiple counts of assault and harassment of an unnamed woman. The actor's lawyer says there's video evidence that exonerates him, and the case is pending. But Majors' character Kang is meant to be Marvel's newest big bad. He shot Season 2 of Loki with Tom Hiddleston, set to premiere later this year, and he's due to headline Avengers: The Kang Dynasty in 2025. A criminal trial of one of its newest stars is exactly the kind of headache Marvel doesn't need. Furthermore, Disney currently has no timetable for naming an executive or executives to take on Alonso's duties, even as several titles like this year's The Marvels and 2024's Captain America: The New World Order work their way through the Marvel pipeline. It's certainly a big position to try and replace, Latcham says. It's really a massive job. The situation at Marvel was an inevitability. There's been a shift in audiences. The disconnect between the producers and the audience is ever widening, as audiences don't respond to the messages in their entertainment. In simpler terms, audiences are very tired of the identity politics in their IPs. Identity politics is a political approach wherein people of a particular race, nationality, religion, gender orientation, social background, social class, or other identifying factors develop political agendas that are based upon these identities. As noted earlier, Victoria Alonso put her beliefs at the forefront of everything she does, and is known to have issues with how Disney handled their business in Florida. Alonso is also an outspoken supporter of certain views, but the past few years have shown that there's no financial value in these causes for Disney. Marvel is shifting its priorities to profit. Ben Franklin coined a term, doing well by doing good. In its most basic form, it means to achieve social acceptance or financial success as a result of behaving in a benevolent or charitable manner. The core of this belief is valued in society, but some feel entertainment companies take their views to the extreme, turning off audiences. At its heart, Disney is a family brand, and what each family finds acceptable is subjective. Disney's push in this direction has hurt them. At times, it appears the products they make are vehicles for these views before the intended purpose, entertainment. Victoria Alonso was a champion for a more progressive Marvel, but the direction has not been beneficial for the brand. Reports suggest either reason for her firing is possible. But no matter the reason, Victoria Alonso is gone, and the Marvel movies have suffered over the last 2 years under her watch. After this story broke, new information came out giving another reason as to why Victoria Alonso was fired, and this one is a lot more concrete. The intrigue over Victoria Alonso's abrupt exit from Marvel continues. On March 24th, The Hollywood Reporter exclusively reported that Disney fired Alonso for breach of contract due to her work on the Oscar-nominated feature Argentina 1985, which was made by Amazon. Last week, Disney indicated the dismissal was due to an undisputable breach of contract and a direct violation of company policy. Alonso, through attorney Patty Glazer, pushed back at this explanation for the firing, saying in a statement at the time, Victoria, a gay Latina who had the courage to criticize Disney, was silenced. Then she was terminated when she refused to do something she believed was reprehensible. Some insiders at Disney believe the reprehensible act referenced by Glazer was a request to censor gay pride references in the latest Ant-Man movie for the Kuwaiti market, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. In January, as Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was being readied for release, word came down that Marvel executives wanted an editor to blur a storefront window that featured a rainbow decoration and the word pride for a version of the film to be released in Kuwait, which has restrictive anti-LGBTQ laws. The storefront was shown in 2 brief scenes in which Scott Lang, Paul Rudd, walked down a San Francisco street. Alonso, who is gay, was an outspoken proponent of inclusion during her time at Marvel. She publicly challenged then-CEO Bob Chapek to push back against Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, as did colleagues at sister company Pixar, and she championed diverse stories. The Quantumania request reached Alonso, who refused to have her team make the edit as part of her duties overseeing visual effects and post-production at Marvel. Insiders say Marvel then went to an outside vendor to see the edit through. There are several other changes to the film for Kuwait, which is the only country in which the pride reference was blurred, according to the source. The edit also removed references to alcohol that would have run afoul of local authority, and removed the animated butt cheeks of the character MODOK. Reps for Disney and Alonso declined to comment. Hollywood studios have struggled with censorship in countries with anti-LGBTQ laws, particularly those in the Middle East. For Kuwait, Disney removed a moment of affection in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever between Michaela Coel's Anika and Florence Kasimbo's Ayo. In other instances, Disney declined to make edits, with insiders noting Disney would not edit out moments deemed integral to the story. Pixar's Lightyear was banned in Saudi Arabia over the same-gender kiss, while Marvel's Eternals was banned in multiple countries as the film featured the same-gender marriage between Phastos and his on-screen husband, Ben. Disney's policy regarding edits is as following. In countries where we operate, we seek to share our stories in their original form as we and the artist involved have created them. If we make edits because of legal or other considerations, they will be as narrow as possible. We will not make an edit where we believe it will impact the storytelling. In that circumstance, we will not distribute the content to that market. A year ago, Alonso spoke at the GLAAD Media Awards amid Disney's dispute with Florida over Don't Say Gay. Taking to the podium, she made a plea to Chapek to take a stand. So I ask you again, Mr. Chapek, please respect. If we're selling family, take a stand against all these crazy, outdated laws. Take a stand for the family. Disney is in the business of making family entertainment, but what each family finds acceptable is subjective. And that's not for an entertainment company to decide, that's for the family to decide. Victoria Alonso is one of the architects of Marvel's demise. However, she's not solely responsible for Marvel's terrible predicament, just a major player in the game. Next, Marvel has Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on their slate. If that film hits, then people will play most of these problems off as no big deal. But if Guardians of the Galaxy fails, Marvel has truly lost its audience. Yes, there is the Marvels, but come on, be honest with yourself. So folks, thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters. And there's only one way to get it. Hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters, because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here, and well, it's man versus machine, and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, that's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of World Class Bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.